Good evening and welcome everyone to this week's CCL training program, a weekly webinar of Citizens Climate Lobbies that provides CCL supporters like you and I with access to in-depth training opportunities on topics related to climate change and effective climate advocacy. I'm your host, Brett Cease, and tonight's topic is all about hosting a front porch ribbon cutting media event for you, your home, and your community. In and around the second anniversary of the Inflation Reduction Act signing here in August, Rewiring America and Citizens Climate Lobby are teaming up to organize Front Porch Ribbon Cuttings. Well, you might be asking, what is one of those? It's a fun event to showcase the impact of the Inflation Reduction Act by treating homeowners who've installed clean electric machines with the same pomp and circumstance that a big newly manufactured facility might get upon opening. We want to cut a ribbon in front of heat pumps, EVs, induction stoves, heat pump water heaters that you name have been installed across this country thanks to the IRA. These events can be community-led. They're meant to bring in press coverage and engage a wide variety of stakeholders in your community, including the homeowner, the contractor who did the work, and any of the policymakers that have been supporting electrification and made that happen, as well as advocates and coalitions that you have been a part of to advance electrification locally from CCL, Rewiring America, you name it. We look forward to working together with you. So if we've done our job well in the next training ahead, you will be walking away with the following three learning goals. Number one, understanding the context for why we're hosting electrification events and how your own home can be a location for a media event. Number two, we're going to review the resources that Rewiring America and CCL are providing to set up your event for ease and success. And hopefully you're going to walk away, you and your local team, feeling ready to get out there and host a Front Porch Ribbon Cutting media event, and some of the fun incentives that are thrown in to make that easy and possible. All right, to take us through tonight's training, we're going to be joined by two amazing presenters. The wonderful Camila Thorndike, Senior Director of Public Engagement for Rewiring America, is going to tee us up here first. Camila joins Rewiring America's team after working on key elements of the Inflation Reduction Act as legislative assistant to Senator Sanders. Prior to the Hill, Camila co-founded the national nonprofit On Climate, led the campaign to pass 100% renewable electricity in the District of Columbia, and has worked for the U.S. Institute for Environment Conflict Resolution, as well as being a long-term CCL friend and supporter and an early group leader for our organization. It's so great to have you here tonight, Camila. And we'll also be hearing from the wonderful Flannery Winchester, CCL Senior Director of Communications. Flannery manages CCL's communications efforts, including informing and inspiring volunteers through national newsletters, blog posts, and social media, supporting her team to train volunteers in local media efforts and sharing the story of CCL across this country with national media. So this is a great intersection for the work that Flannery does such an amazing job on behalf of our whole organization with. And our following agenda is pretty straightforward. We're going to start here with a little bit of background and grounding with Electrification Month. We'll pass it then to Camila to talk about the sample toolkit that Rewiring America has put together. Flannery will then review the press release that CCL has available for you to get started here with your local team. Then we'll open it up for Q&A. So with that, though, let's talk electrification. Again, for all of August, we are focusing on electrifying our homes. CCL is talking to people in communities across this country about electrifying our homes because we want everyone to know that there are cutting-edge clean energy options available right now and ways to save money on them too. A couple of years ago, Congress took a big step to make clean energy more accessible and affordable for everyday people like you and me. And that big step was a piece of legislation called the Inflation Reduction Act that many people might not still be aware of. So we want to make sure to highlight how it can help all of us, and especially right now in the context of the Department of Treasury this week just releasing data on this first year of tax credit uptake. 3.4 million American households have taken advantage of the credits already, more than double the federal government's early projections. And we want to build on that momentum and keep making sure that these events are happening across this country. So we're going to go over some of these toolkits and resources that are going to be detailed by Camila. And with that, I will actually pass it to you to walk us through what a brief might look like. And you're putting together a sample front porch ribbon cutting event and planning this out, what that looks like locally in your own community. Camila, the floor is yours.
So now we're going to go to the sample event brief that I'm going to just run through. And this is not intended to be anything but a sample. The names are made up, the location is made up, but we're going through to show you the kind of detail that's helpful to um, highlight at this point in the process and kind of get our organizing team's minds wrapped around. So this is the brief, and we have a copy that's editable for anyone who steps up and wants to do this. At the top is the homeowner's name. In this case, our friend Liz Sanchez, who most definitely does not exist, but we love her for doing doing her duty here. Um, we've found that 11 a.m. or 1 p.m. local time is the best time for press, but again, any time that works for the homeowner. And we have the date at the top. So we have Liz's contact information, we have her address, maybe a little description of what kind of home she has. In this case, she has a house at the end of a cul-de-sac and she has a front porch where she can highlight the electrification and clean energy benefits that she has already taken advantage of from the IRA. Again, the date and time is spelled out there. If we scroll down a little bit, we've got the installation section. So this is where we list what kind of machines have you installed, when did you install them, and did you take advantage of the IRA to finance these projects? In Liz's case, she put in a heat pump water heater last year. She used the IRA tax credit, and the brand of that heat pump water heater is Ream. She also has solar on her roof. She installed that this year, so she'll be able to take advantage of the IRA tax credits in the next tax cycle. And she went with the SunPower brand and company. She also has a Nissan Leaf. She purchased this before the IRA tax credits were filed, so we're just or available. There were federal tax credits though, and so we'll be able to tell that as a part of a broader story of benefits that the federal government has provided on clean energy. And I want to just note that because in most people's cases, it's unlikely that they just have the IRA specific tax credits, but they might have used the exact same tax credit before it was boosted through the Inflation Reduction Act. And so it's okay to to list all of those installations, and we tell again that broader story. This also includes state policy support or even local or utility level support. We want to know all of the things that you've done in your home, from heat pumps, induction, upgrading your wiring, weatherizing your home, doing energy audits, all the way to getting an electric vehicle or a hybrid, an EV charger, or solar on your roof, geothermal, whatever it is. So the next section here, we're asking folks to take their best guess at the savings that they've accrued from these technologies. There might be upfront savings, right, through the tax credit, the actual cost of the machine. How much did you get to discount? In most cases, it's like they're up towards of 30% of the cost of the machine through the federal tax credits, and then estimate how much is being saved on energy bills on an annual basis or monthly bills, whatever information you have. And if that's at all tricky to estimate, we're very happy to help you kind of parse through the numbers and summarize the savings. The next section here is who's your contractor that you worked with. That is a really important part of telling this story if you had a good experience. If the contractor wasn't that helpful or didn't know much, or, maybe in some cases even disputed what benefits were available or why it was worth going electric, that's really good information for us to have. So please note that down. But we might not feature that contractor versus another who, is really enthusiastic and wants to lean in. The workforce piece is an essential part of the story that we're getting out because, as some of you might have experienced, they're really the front door to this whole energy transition. And whether they are pointing customers towards electric and clean machines or not has so much to do with whether people are taking advantage of these credits. And in many cases, contractors and retailers don't even know that the credits exist. So if they start to see in the press their peers being celebrated for making it easy for homeowners to install these machines and claim the benefits, then they'll think, oh gosh, I'm missing out on business. I should be doing that too. And so that's a really, really important part of what we're trying to achieve here. The last part, if you go down to homeowner partners, this is where we're looking to, who are your organizing besties? These are usually maybe fellow CCL chapter volunteers or others in your community. It might be your spouse, your neighbor, your niece, whoever wants to kind of jump in and help make this possible. And then the next sections we get into the staff support from organizations like Rewiring America and CCL and other partners who are going to help with the behind the scenes and day of coordination that I mentioned. So in this case, Yasmin lives in Las Vegas, Nevada. So I put her down for the Western region if she's maybe able to help this event in Mesa. Um, and then we have our partners on the ground who are able to step in and be part of this event. So in this case, I made up a name of a CCL Southwest region staff. She'll be supporting the local chapter that's rallying around this event. We also have partners like the League of Conservation Voters, which has CHISPA, their Latino organization in the Southwest that's very active, or sorry, active across the country, but they happen to have a staff, again, made up name, in Arizona, who can step in. And if you can note the roles as they shape up, then that'll help everyone kind of know their lane. The last next section here, the media contact. I understand there's liaisons for media within the CCL chapters. That's important to put down so we know who's kind of managing our press contact and outreach. Same for congressional liaisons. Who's already got those relationships with their members of Congress and can invite them to be a part of this event. If they can't attend the event, that's great too. That person would help them be aware that it's happening and send the kind of press that is generated from the event to that office afterwards. Um, and now we're getting near the end of this document, I promise. The next section is our VIPs and who is the point of contact for that VIP. You might think about, again, who is the member of Congress? Let's swing big here. Let's go for US Senator Mark Kelly. I've noted, who from the chapter is a point of contact and whether or not they've been confirmed to actually participate in the event. You might think of other respected local leaders. Why not get the president of the university in the area or local business, whomever? So again, putting, who's the point of contact from your team or and whether or not they're confirmed. Now we get into what does it look like on the day of. So in the program lineup, we've just made up this 45-minute event lineup. So let's say our chapter, or excuse me, our partners at CHISPA can give opening remarks that situates this homeowner's electrification progress within the broader picture of climate and energy action in Arizona. And then he might hand it off to Liz, the homeowner herself, to tell the personal story of how she decided to get these machines, what a difference the Inflation Reduction Act made in making them affordable, and what kind of energy savings on her bill she is seeing and what that allows her to do in her life. From our partners who've done similar events across the country, this message of savings is really the key component. So many of us here are motivated to save the planet, and that is also an essential part of what we're trying to tell in this story, but it's the energy savings that really perk up the attention of folks who might not already kind of be in our camp, right? I know you all know that extremely well from all of your work lobbying the Hill. Then we'll kick it to the solar contractor to give remarks about, what a pleasure it was working with Liz to get the solar panels on her roof or whatever. And then it's an opportunity for them to also talk about their business. Senator Kelly, this is not necessarily the lineup. We might want to put the senator first, right? Depending on what his availability is. He's going to talk about the IRA, what it was like passing it, what a big difference it's making for American households across the country, and how proud he was to be part of that historic moment. The President Crow might outline the university leadership, and then we'll have the RMC kind of wrap up the remarks and open it up for comments and questions from the press. So that concludes, the who, what, where, when, how of the event. And the details of the how are the next two sections. So we're going to be providing templates and toolkits to make each element of this event planning easy for you. You've already seen the first resource here, which is the ribbon cutting toolkit. We'll have media advisory templates. CCL already has a press release template that we've linked here. We'll have sample text for inviting your VIPs, as well as members of the community so that there's a fun little crowd there if you want it. And then a day of event agenda that really dives into a minute by minute kind of TikTok of how we go about making these events successful. We'll also have a little guide on how you can film this event on your phone and take footage with the machines or the crowd, a selfie, a little testimonial, so that we build up those fun social media resources. And then a template for how to thank people who made the event successful after it's completed. We've got a materials checklist, scissors, the ribbon, we'll have yard signs available. And then this one, if there's enough notice, we can send a costume of a heat pump so that someone can wear that. And we found this is a really fun part of the events that we've put on. And then the last section here, we'll be building out some details here in terms of the timeline, exactly when is it time to get your media advisories out, what happens on the day of the event with press release and social promotion, and then a checklist that will also create some better resources around as far as the steps to success. So that was a lot. Thank you for listening. I hope this is helpful. I'll kick it to.
Hi, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Flannery Winchester. I'm CCL's Senior Director of Communications, and I am popping in with a little message about media. So whenever we have special events going on in our chapters, it is a media opportunity. It's a chance to reach out to local media, generate some coverage and some buzz about what you've got going on. And so this is especially true for these front porch ribbon cuttings for a couple of reasons. So the ribbon cuttings are a unique event. It's not something that the local media will have probably come across in this format. It's intentionally a little bit of a twist on a normal ribbon cutting for like a big business or something that is that's industrial or something like that. And so to twist it and have it be for a personal a home improvement type of project is a little bit fun, a little bit different. And so that's going to get their attention. It's also helpful for you because it's not strictly a climate story. So it gives you something a little bit different than you might normally have to reach out to local media about. But then of course it can connect back to climate. If you get reporter interest, which we expect you will, then you have a chance to, talk about this story, but then you can kind of lead them eventually back to, what is CCL working on other than this, and like what is CCL all about? So it's a nice kind of entry point. These events also provide nice visuals, which is helpful for getting TV out there. Also the fact that there's local business owners, hopefully local elected officials involved. That's a great reason for media to pay attention. And it's also just a very feel-good story. It's a nice story. These are upgrades, and people got money back, and it's a local homeowner, local business. Like it's all good all around. So for all those reasons, we do think that it's a really worthwhile media opportunity. If you are going to do one, you definitely want to think about this media component because it's such a great chance to get some coverage. So in order to help you do that, we have created a press release template, as we often do, to help facilitate these types of activities. So let's just take a peek at the template. So we have here a headline that you can drop in the names of any local speakers that you've got, drop in your city name. And then just further through here, we have a chance for you to personalize the details of your particular event. So the homeowner's name, the details about whatever electrified stuff they're going to reveal, whether it's a heat pump or a heat pump water heater. If you're going all the way inside to see their induction stove or whatever it is, you can add those details. You add the date, time, the address of the event, all of that. and then give media a little peek at the run of show. So let them know what the homeowner's going to talk about. If you have maybe a contractor or the local installer who's going to speak, or any other kind of advocate groups, or if someone from your chapter is going to speak about maybe about electrification in general, why it's so important for our climate progress, or whatever is planned for that run of show. You can detail that here. And then the other element to fill in is a local contact name so that people know who they can reach out to. Media knows who they can reach out to in your chapter if they want to coordinate day of. And then we've also got on here a National Rewiring America contact and a National CCL contact. So because this is these are events that are happening around the country, there may be a reason that the reporter wants to sort of talk at a higher level, and they may want to talk to either Alex or myself from that kind of organizational perspective. So we've got our names on there too for any of that type of backup. But that is the press release template that we've got for you guys, and you can find this on CCL Community. So we have a page called Local Press Release Templates. If you just type that in the search bar, it'll take you right to it. And this Front Porch Ribbon Cutting press release is the top one that you can download there. So that is pretty much all you need to know. If you do need more training on reaching out to media, like if this is your first kind of foray into this, your chapter maybe hasn't connected with local reporters before, and you're wondering, how do I figure out who I should talk to, or when do I send my press release, things like that. All of that is covered in a training that we have called Generating Media Coverage. So same thing, you can just type Generating Media Coverage into the CCL Community search bar, or I bet Brett will put the link in the chat. But that training goes really in depth about how to build your media list, how to alert them when you have things going on, how to effectively send out your press release, how to follow up, things like that. So all of that is available. And of course, I'm here. Charlotte Ward is here if we can support you. If you do plan a front porch ribbon cutting and you want to help make sure that you get media out there, we are here to help make it happen. All right. Good luck.
All right. Thank you both so much for this excellent training. What I want to do just briefly is give a little preview again. If anyone hasn't yet been incentivized to be a part of this by highlighting the fun heat pump costumes available in partnership with Rewiring America, thanks for your generosity. If you'd like to make sure to have a little splash with sufficient enough advance notice, these are available, and a reminder of how to get started. So we want to make sure, number one, that you, after tuning into this training, consider whether you, your own home, or anyone locally in your chapter that has electrified in this last year and a half, or really even any time period before that, if you wanted to highlight the benefits of electrification, would be available in hosting an event. It can be this month for the IRA's second anniversary, or even beyond that, if the timeline right here is too condensed. If you are interested, or if a friend contact in your community are, please email either Flannery or myself. Our emails are provided here on this slide, and we'll get you connected to the full team of support, including our Rewiring America friends that can help you get started in making sure to make a big media splash with your event. And that, again, includes the limited number of heat pump costumes for those that are early adopters, if you'd like to have one of those sent out, as long as you have, especially as Camila's highlighted, a 10+ day notice. The planning sheet that we've reviewed tonight doesn't have to be fully filled in, meaning you don't have to have every single element of those cells completed to have a successful event. You can choose the scale, the size, the scope of the event that works best for you and still have an impact in your community. So know that we are so excited to try these out. We can't wait to hear and be able to spotlight them throughout this country. And just as a reminder, we would love for your help to log this training. You can click the link in the description notes if you're listening in later, or you can simply go to the action tracker, type in this training's name, and get credit by demonstrating that we're getting a lot of uptake with each of the training offerings that CCL provides across our learning community. We hope that you found tonight's training useful and empowering. And again, here's a link to our forums, our email contact, and our electrification campaign. If you'd like to take further action after tonight, we can't wait to hear all about it. And thanks again, everyone, for helping amplify, no pun intended, the focus for these front porch ribbon cutting events throughout the country in this month ahead. Take care, everyone. Have a great night.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Citizens Climate Lobby's training program. You can tune into more episodes anywhere podcasts are available. Inspired by what you heard today? Join Citizens Climate Lobby to advocate for bipartisan climate solutions. Go to community.citizensclimate.org to find more trainings, resources, your local chapter, national action teams, discussion forums, and more. Be sure to like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter and Instagram @CitizensClimate. We also invite all of our listeners to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more inspiration.
Like what you hear? Recommend us to your friends and make sure to give us a 5-star rating. It helps us show up on other listeners' feeds. Feel free to pass on any suggestions for future episodes in the comments as well.
And together, we are creating the political will for a livable world.